Some of you may die, but it's a sacrifice I am willing to make.
Ironic.
Yeah, boy.
What's up everyone, and welcome to my counter to the Executor, using the Executrix without stealing any core members of an Empire team. This leaves you fully open to use Chimera with all of the core staples, your Vader, your TIE Bomber, your Interceptor, Gauntlet, whatever have you is not used here at all. Instead, we are running Scythe, TIE Fighter Pilot, Defender, and Plo Koon as a way to jury-rig this fight to make sure that our Kree TIE Fighter pilots get their value off and buy us time to keep Scythe alive until first reinforcement, where we can get Defender out, combo the Defender with the Scythe, and just run away with the game. The combination is honestly unfair. It is a hell of a ship, even at 4 or 5 stars, and certainly once we get to 6-star or 7-star, I can only assume that this ship is going to be terrifying. We have the reinforcements behind it there to help just punch through Houndstooth more easily. This is Wedge, not Biggs, I will specifically note, just for the buff immunity on call-in. Honestly, I haven't called him in on any of my fights yet. Normally it's just this, so if you're looking for the standard 2 reinforcement GAC call-in, it's probably just going to be this, right? Edmund Huck, definitely an old classic in the Executor counter, and this is no different. Now, for this testing, we have the opportunity to test against Moshi from Call Patrol, whose relics are pretty good. Call Patrol, of course, going to be top of the line relics. This is an R9 IG2K, however, it's modded to tie the exec at 194 speed and not be at 195. Now, please learn from my mistakes, because as I was doing this testing, I did take R8 Plo because I figured it was the usual Plo check against R9 IG2K, and I figured it'd be good to have for future battles. What I realized is, if they have IG2K going first, you don't need R8 Plo. R7 Plo works fine because Plo only needs to beat the exec mass. If they have a 195 IG2K, you just have TFP. He makes foresight and marks. It's actually the easiest possible way that that fight could play out for you. I just have an R8 Plo for no reason now. I just I don't know, man. I wish I could get a refund. That's just something that's gonna be there for good now. So yeah, learn from my mistakes. It's actually a pretty big upside here, that all you're checking for here is you want TIE Fighter Pilot to be faster than IG2K, and you want Plo to be faster than the Executor. Usually this is going to be at that 194, 195 line with the R7 Plo, but in this footage you are mostly seeing R8 because I'm an idiot. Now beyond that, you saw the relics on their end. For our end, I will say fair warning that the item is Relic 8. Now the majority of this footage, it is a 4-star Defender. I did try to take it up to 5 stars so that we could secure this last little bit of the reinforcement, and it's definitely nice to have. It wasn't exactly transformative, mostly just as long as you can get the Defender out with the Scythe on the field. That's all you're really looking for. It does more damage at 5-star, of course, and I can only assume that 6 and 7-star are going to be horrifyingly good. But yeah, just be aware that the item behind it is very, very powerful. And then the TFP as well is Relic 8. But to be honest, he's kind of expected to die with this counter. I guess the higher your relic is, the higher the chance that you can save him. And in fact, in a few of my tests, we were able to keep him alive just for extra banners, I guess. But yeah, the full expectation is a lot of these fights, he's just going to eat the Executor mass assist. He's just going to die, and it does not matter, right? The real core that we are trying to get to is these 2 ships. And then, you know, Ebon Hawk. Plo Koon, fully expected to die. Alright, Plo, I think he survived once. Or like once or twice. If he got a dodge off, and then Scythe has to babysit him and heal him, and Plo's gonna die. Just assume that Plo's gonna die, and if he happens to make it, it's just a happy coincidence. And yeah, it's a fairly straightforward fight. Almost all of them play the same. Despite me saying that, there is a lot of RNG points where, of course, random TIE Fighter pilot dodge RNG, there's 3 of them. So certainly they're all going to be throwing some variation into the mix, but as long as you kind of know the core of the fight and what you're looking to do, I've been able to wing it a lot. So I have this opener that seems pretty consistent right now. You know, we'll need a few more days to get a actual real sample size going. But for now, there is only one time that I have seen that actually lost, and it required Freak RNG where the AI just couldn't kill anybody on the opener, and then they magically decided to go for Scythe instead of Plo Koon, who appears to just be the highest priority on the team, which I thought was interesting and is very convenient for this counter. Anyway, I'm gonna let the footage do a lot of the talking. Enjoy. I'm realizing as I'm doing live commentary that I don't exactly know what type of fight I'm gonna get before I go in, so instead I'll just see how this one opens up and kind of go with the flow. Okay, so this is definitely more of a standard one that I've seen. They go for the mass on the free one on the left side, and then they expect Plo to die here. I do middle with Scythe here. It just seems to work out well. Yeah, Plo with a lucky dodge, so possibly a bit of a high roll. The free one goes. Plo is usually not long after. It's just going to be the next Razor Crest turn. Pretty much guaranteed. A bit of free Terminator never hurts, I guess. Why not? And there you go. There's the early Xanadu kill. Putting up pressure. The defense down on Scythe basic is so good for setting up the defender as well. It almost feels gross that this team has access to defense down, just for how strong this ship is. It's very gratuitous. So here we go. Stun on the Houndstooth. Path is on, so unfortunately we can't get the Target Lock attempt with TFP yet. And yeah, nobody has breach, so the taunt is gone, so it is in the heightened tenacity state. So I'm probably just going to go for kills on the side ships here. Let's call Ebon Hawk anyway. I'm a big fan of the extra turn meter that it gives for the team. So I opened up with basic because of that extra turn meter gain here, right? We already have Chash for 1 extra turn across the board. And to boot, we don't really need to worry about going for the buff immunity. So, weird. I've never actually seen Plo Koon live this long. I mean, how should we want to do this? Maybe just taunt on Defender? Why not, I guess? Have at it, champ. Alright, so Houndstooth is probably going to be looking to get back in the action soon. Defender is not really missing that much health, but I'm just going to give it a little bit of a top off anyway. Weird. I was about to make a comment on the banner and then they stole 1 extra. I mean, again, Razor Crest has it out for Plo a lot of the time, so I guess none too surprising that he lost one at the very end there. But it almost looked like we were going to have... Well, let's see. We're on minus 1, 2, 3, 4. Plo Koon not dead. No ships dead yet, actually, aside from the freebies. I'm not sure. Maybe Scythe has a heal coming up that we could try to get an extra banner back. I don't believe this will do it. And we have protection over time. We'll see. I kind of want to see if we can milk some dodges just to push some extra turn meter to Scythe. We got 1. That's just going to kill. Okay, so here is a chance. I don't know if it's at... And it's almost Gray Spirit, so that could be a banner back. Drop this one here. Pop the offense up. Oh, okay. I mean, 2, 4, 6, 8, 9. Possibly 9. We'll call it 8. 8 just to be safe, but I've seen Grace Period with a smaller bar than this. It's always hard to tell unless they're actually in, you know, GAC, but yeah, how about that? Some actual no ships dying run. Again, I would say that's pretty lucky. I think Plo Koon got a dodge, so 2% chance there, but cool that we got it on footage. Let's do one last fight before we get this video out the door. I am hoping to get Moshi with the Houndstooth version in later today in the 2K slot. I mean, you know, you could always say that if they're posting that team, then it's just vulnerable to Finalizer anyway, but it would still be interesting to know how this team does against it. Now, certainly if Triple Attacker has become more vulnerable to this, then it'd be good to know if Houndstooth is just as capable or if it's kind of just in this weird first order defender seesaw type of action. Yep, kind of similar to the last one so far. This looks like one where Plo Koon will probably die. I would hope so. Kind of sets unrealistic expectation. What if we just tried to save him? Saving Private Plo. That is an 89k out of TFP. That's a bit of a high roll. They are kind of getting washed. Okay, to be honest, I don't even know if we should bother using this. There's only one buff to take. We'll drop it on Defender. It's got the shielding, so that wasn't necessarily almost a kill shot, but still, things are moving very fast. Again, feels a little bit weird, you know. There's 3 buffs to steal. Let's get the chaff off. That has to be value. Grab the stun. Kind of expecting Plo to just keep getting pulled. Oh, it actually goes for the TFP this time. Interesting. All right, do we have anybody with Breach? We do. So buff immunity is fair game. Grab some Terminator. Grab some damage. Let's heal up TFP. It's this weird game of should I worry about ships durability or can I kind of try to greed out some extra banners and keep all of my ships alive? So far the greed doesn't really seem to be getting punished, but at least if they had more ships on the board, I always feel kind of paranoid of what if the AI just magically decides, hey, I'm killing your site. Let's see, how do we have our team set up? We have the taunt here with foresights. We have a mark here without, so it's 50-50. But we have a to hit the taunt here anyway, so. Or we could just not. That also works. Okay, so we have a retribution into the foresight. We're taunting. It's just going to give our Tarkin free turn meter. Again, more foresight, more free turn meter. This is kind of what I'm talking about with the whole... You can kind of just either suddenly lose a ship or at least a fair amount of banners just from Razor Crest wins. So I've at some level, it feels like it's worth trying to make sure that everyone stays at least some sort of hardy shape. But of course, Scythe kind of being the one that needs to stay alive the most. It's kind of the Plo Koon of this team, almost, I would say. Lots of utility, kind of gauntlet-ish. Just a very, very good ship overall for this squad. Anyway, I think we back out here. You know, obviously this is going to be a win, but yeah, let's not waste. Well, as I thought the video was wrapped up, Moshi is swapped in with the Houndstooth instead of the IG2K. So I'm glad I'm going to have this all in the same video. I'm sure this now means that I'm contradicting some of what I said earlier about having this split off, but So I'm not entirely sure on if we want to give Houndstooth Terminator or not, but my gut says let's not. It's fairly slow ship by normal standards. Yep, so they dropped the mass on the freebie. If we use the AoE here, it will give the Houndstooth Terminator. Honestly, I don't hate basic here. Let's just try the AoE. He goes for that breach on Plo. Plo just seems to be a very high priority target in general. Buttons, have that formation for us. I believe we got an extra dodge, but yeah. As expected, Plo dead, but gets us not across the finish line, I guess. It's a little bit early to call that, but is getting us there. We do have a breach where if we want to get to Ebon Hawk, get that out. Kind of want to give this to Scythe just to be safe. The protection up shielding just, at least to me, helps make this fight feel more secure. I don't think we have Foresight yet. I don't think we'll have it, so I don't think it's worth getting a Retribution here. Let's just go over here. All right, we got the offense up, but we don't have a new formation yet, so Defender isn't at its full defense potential, let's say. Retribution here will give us dodge for Terminator, though. And how about another one? It's something I wasn't really consciously doing a ton on when I first started running this, but now that I'm paying more attention to it, it feels like kind of a no-brainer. And just some massive value to go for, so yeah, why not? Alright, Slave 1 dead. We can dispel that Xanadu stealth, maybe go for him next. Why not? Hey, I mean, yep, they are just crumbling. Yeah, I mean, I guess why not? We'll take some chaff. We don't really need it. The Plo is dead. Right now, everyone's full banners. I don't expect that to last, but we'll see how far we can take this. It does seem to like to bully banners off of Ebon Hawk towards the end when Plo's dead, so I guess fair warning on that front. And let's feed some extra. All right, we got the airplane mode on. Let's see. Wise. Oh, okay. We got the airplane mode on, so it's not going to knock him. Pretty good first attempt, I would say. I could see this being a little bit more annoying. You know, usually you don't have to deal with the Houndstooth immediately, and the fleet doesn't necessarily have the hardest of Houndstooth counters. Mainly, I would say the real TFP, if you've got that buff immunity when the enemy is target locked, but they have chaff to deal with. So you need to dispel the chaff, and then you need to try to get a target lock, and then you have buff immunity. Or you need to try to have someone on your team with breach. Get Ebon Hawk out, you get the buff immunity off of Ebon Hawk. You can do it that way. In this case, it wasn't really a necessity. You kind of just go with the flow as long as you know your team's kits. Yeah. Team continues to feel pretty functional.